Alright. What's good, y'all? Soul here, and welcome back to the story mode. So, I'm sure this is very weird, because you probably weren't expecting to see all this. You were not expecting my face, probably. And you know what? That's perfectly fine, because this is a filler upload. By the time you guys see this, I'm gonna be out on vacation. I'm gonna be gone for a bit. I will be back very soon, but, you know, there will be a couple of days where I'm just like gone, and then when I get back, there's gonna be a couple of rest days. I know I'm gonna need that for sure, right? So, you know, eventually we will get back to work, and I've got a couple of other videos that I'd like to get out to you guys, but for this week, and, you know, I'm probably gonna give you guys a couple of filler uploads, mostly in the style of this here, where we just kind of just talk, right? We just chit-chat. This is very different for the channel, I know. We don't usually do this kind of thing, but I think it could be fun. Right? Now, you've seen the title and you've seen the thumbnail. Today, we're going to be... This might be a long one, too, by the way. I don't know how long this video is going to be. I'll chop it up as much as I possibly can. But I'm going to do my best to make this one a little bit enjoyable, right? So, today, I have decided that for you guys, I'm going to be ranking. I can't say every because I don't know if every Pokemon spin-off is going to be on this list. So, I'm going to rank most Pokemon spin-offs. That should be fun, right? So why don't we go ahead and get started. I'm going to bring my mic a little bit closer so you guys can hear me a little more clearly, right? So let's get started. Now, I have my list here. My little guy here is blocking the way, and I'm scared to fix my setup right now because if I break it, I'm not going to have enough time to fix it. So this layout's going to look a little bit ugly, and I'm sorry, but, you know, I'll put some fun editing here and there, whatever. Anyway, so here's the list, right? We have our top tier, which is godly, our A tier, which is like phenomenal, our B tier, which is great, C tier, which is like, alright, you know, you made it, you passed, whatever. We have our D tier, which is like, ugh, and then we have our never played, right? Or I guess ugh is more like an F tier. So S, A, B, C, F. There is no D tier, right? Simple as that. And so I have all of the, you know, because I guess nobody really updates their spin-off. I guess nobody updates the Pokemon stuff on Tier List Maker very often, and I'm not going through the trouble of learning how to do that either, so I can't really blame them. So, I've grabbed every spin-off game that I could possibly see on this list here, and we're gonna rank them. So let's go ahead and get into it. So, to start things off, we have... I don't know what that... Pictocross? I've never played that. I've never been affiliated with that game. I don't know anything about it. Pictocross... Not my thing, but, you know, I'm sure it's fun, whatever, right? Also, these are completely unorganized, so, you know, I'm not going by, you know, year of release or anything like that. This is completely unorganized, because this isn't even a dedicated list for that, so, bear with me here. Anyway, after that is going to be Pokemon Go, and quite honestly, I can't even lie to you, in its prime, it was absolutely phenomenal. Pokemon Go, even in its downtime, right? Actually... I mean, for me, because I've never been, like, rarely do I get so heavily invested in mobile games like that anymore. So it's like, I have mixed feelings on Pokemon Go, because in its prime, it was one of the best games on mobile that I have ever played. But currently, I don't even open it anymore, right? And it's not because I think that the game is bad, per se, but because I just have no interest in it anymore, because it doesn't really have much to offer me anymore. So I guess that does kind of factor in, which is why I actually think I'll just move it down to great. I still think it's a good game, I still think it's fun enough to get into, and, you know, I still have it on my phone for the occasional open up, see what's going on, maybe a fun little event is going on. I think that's cool, so that's fine, right? After that, we have Detective Pikachu. I have never played Detective Pikachu. I wanted to, but I just never... was all that inclined, you know? And by the time we got it on 3DS, I think that was about 2016, 2017, right? By the time we received Detective Pikachu, I was like, okay, this is another one of those situations where I was like, the 3DS is kind of on its way out. Eventually, we'll see Detective Pikachu in some way, shape, or form on the Switch. And eventually, you know, I was correct in Detective Pikachu 2, but I never played Detective Pikachu 1, so I never picked up the second one. So, unfortunately, I never got the chance to play that, but I did hear some good things about the first one, and it was good enough to warrant a movie, so I messed with it. That's cool. That's fine. I'm jiggy with it. That's fine. But, yeah, I never got the chance to play that one, but I've heard good things, so maybe one day we'll pick it up and stream it or something, I don't know. After that, we have Pokemon Duel. This one's okay. I played that. God, that was an old one, man. That is an old game, dude. That came out when I was still in high school, man. That was like 8 years ago. That's an old-ass game that I barely even remember, if I'm being completely frank with you guys. I do remember having a good-ass time with it for like 2 weeks straight, though. I think it was a good time, but, you know, it was essentially... Unfortunately, it was a good time, but not for a very long time. So, yeah. I don't know what this one is. I don't know what that is, so I'm gonna move this up here. And this. I don't know what this is, right? After that, we have the new Pokemon Snap. Uh-oh. My headphones died. Well, I guess we don't really need them for now, because there's nothing going on. I should play some music or something. Oh no, you guys would be able to hear that. Nope, never mind. Dang it. Well, that's unfortunate. Just plug this right up. Oh, I never keep these dang things charged, man. That's my own fault. Whatever. You guys just get me. Hello. This feels awkward, but we're gonna go ahead and continue on. So yeah, I've never played Pokemon Snap. I've never played the original. I just never got around to it. And, you know, I think that's okay. That's fine. It's not that big of a deal. It was fun for a week. And then nobody talked about it ever again, you know? And I'm gonna go ahead and just grab the original Pokemon Snap as well, okay? I'm sure it's fun. I just never got around to it, right? Now here, I believe it's not giving me titles or anything like that, so I'm going to assume that this picture right here is actually Pokepark 1, right? And, you know, based off the models and stuff like that, especially because it came out during 5th gen, so these are, you know, it makes sense for, you know, those models for both versions of Kyurem to show up, Black Kyurem and White Kyurem. I'm assuming that's Pokepark 1, and because it's Pokepark 1, I'm putting that bad boy in phenomenal. That is a, you know what? No. Let me not get overzealous here. Pokepark 1, from what I remember, was absolutely one of the best experiences I've had with a Pokemon spin-off. Easily. It was so much fun. It was such a different experience, being able to actually play as a Pokemon, specifically Pikachu, going around making friends, battling, doing little mini games and stuff like that, playing tag, and all these different things that I wish would be implemented in the mainline Pokemon games. It's such a good time. Anybody that liked Pokemon early enough during like the Wii era and stuff like that will definitely tell you, like, yeah, I've played Pokepark 1 and 2, and it was always a good time. It was such a good time. It was so much fun, and it was just ahead of its time. It was such a good game. I'm so sad that they never ported it, but what a phenomenal little time. What a phenomenal time. I'm also gonna go ahead and just skip past Art Academy. I've never messed with Art Academy. Don't know what that is. Oy, oy, oy. So after that, we have Pokken Tournament. Can you blame me? Are you shocked that it's gonna be one of my top tiers? One of my S tiers? Pokken Tournament is so good. Not only because it's one of the more fun just spin-off games, but it is literally it's a spin-off that's based off of Tekken, developed by some of the developers from Tekken. That is a dedicated game. I'm glad that it came to Switch, but I'm so sad that it died off as fast as it did, and I'm so sad that we never got a second one, and I don't know if we're ever going to get a second one. But Pokken Tournament, absolutely one of the greats, underrated. I love it. 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 Every day I'm at war with myself, considering, like, man, maybe I should pick that bad boy up again just to see what's going on. But it's hard to justify when I don't know anybody else that plays this game anymore. Nobody's gonna pay $60 for this old ass Pokemon spin-off fighting game. Nobody's doing that. So unfortunately, I'm just gonna have to let it rest for now and make peace with that. Maybe one day I'll pick it up. We'll do like something with it. I don't know. But for now, I'm gonna put it in the top tiers and leave it at that. Now we have Pokemon Cafe Remix. That's my first, I don't know what the purpose of this game is. It's cute. It's, I guess, nice. It's a nice little cozy app or whatever, but it's one of the more pointless apps that doesn't bring any benefit to any of the main games. Even like, you know, I know like other spin-off like mobile games don't really do it either, outside of Pokemon Go and stuff like that. But I don't know, Cafe Remix just, I can't even be bothered. It's just such a pointless nothing to me. And, you know, that's okay. You know, it's not for me. And for a lot of other people, I don't know a single other person that actually plays Pokemon Cafe Remix. I don't know a single person that plays Pokemon Cafe Remix. So, oh well, I guess, right? Pokemon Home is not, I'm just gonna, it doesn't matter because it's not a spin-off. It's a holder for your Pokemon. So whatever. After that, we have Pokemon Masters EX. Now, this one, I'm actually going to put in great. I spent a very, very absurd amount of time on that game. When it first came out for the first couple of months, I was invested in that bad boy. It was actually very fun. It actually was a very different take on like Pokemon and how to battle and things like that. The little 3v3 like, you know, active time battle situation that they had going on. I would have loved to see something like that for this. If it got ported over to the Switch, I would actively probably play that a lot more often. That's definitely a spin-off that I could see getting like a real dedicated like time or development time, because I don't think it's bad by any means, and every now and again I'll hop back into it just to see what kind of new masters they have going, all the different events with all of these different characters interacting with each other and stuff like that. I think there was one a while back with Cynthia and Volo that I never even got to see, that I'm a little upset that I missed, but I don't have either of those characters, so I don't think I'll ever see it. But I still think that, you know, for the most part, Masters EX was a very good time, and if you haven't tried it, I highly recommend it for, you know, a good pastime if you like Pokemon, because it's definitely a different take that I really enjoy. Yeah, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, this is so this is DX, so this is the Red and Blue Rescue Team remake. Yeah, that's going to phenomenal. That's a top tier, very up there type beat. It's literally just Red and Blue Rescue Team, but remade, and it's a good time. I'll be honest though, I don't remember as much as I would have liked, and the only reason that I even remember like the final boss, which is Rayquaza, is because I was making videos on it during the Arcade Wave phase, where me and my buddies were, you know, doing our group channel and stuff like that, and I was making a lot of videos on Rescue Team DX. And it was a good time. It was a very fun time. It made me realize, like, yeah, cool, awesome. Mystery Dungeon works very well on a home console, and with this style of, like, you know, design and gameplay and just, you know, the art style and everything like that, if they continued with that, I think it'd be okay. You know, it could definitely use a little bit of work on backgrounds and stuff like that. Some things look a little awkward here and there, like with the models and things like that. But other than that, it's a way to play Mystery Dungeon on modern consoles, and I really hope that eventually we get to see that with other spin-offs. But, you know, I think they did a very good job with the Rescue Team remakes, and I hope to see more. They did a great job. Pokemon Quest is very funny. I think it's okay. It's definitely an okay game. Like, nothing phenomenal about it, but nothing terrible about it that gets in your way, you know? It's very just missable, and that's fine. We don't need every one of these things to be just top tier, godlike, whatever. Like, it's fine to just be existent, and I can live with that. And I think that Pokemon Quest is absolutely that. It's just kind of there, and you can play it, you can not play it. You're not hurting yourself or anybody else by checking it out, and you're not hurting yourself or anybody else by just never even taking a glance at it. And so it kind of exists, and that's okay. That's fine. I don't know what this is. I've never played this one. And I've never played Pokemon Shuffle either. We're just going to go ahead and move right past that, alright? Now, Super Mystery Dungeon. This one's weird. I don't remember as much as I would have liked, other than the story was, like, okay. But it was our true, like, 3DS, like, brand new Mystery Dungeon game. And it was okay, from what I remember. It wasn't too harmful. It wasn't too much of anything in any particular direction. I remember people not liking it, and I felt they were definitely exaggerating on the hate, because I remember it being okay. I had a good time with it. I played it to the end. I didn't go anywhere past that. Once I played it, I dropped it, never looked back, you know? So, I think it's okay. I think it's definitely I put my headphones on. I put my headphones back on because it feels more comfortable to actually have my headphones on. It feels weird to be naked. I'm not naked, obviously, and it's okay to be. We're moving on. So now we have Pokemon Unite, which I have mixed feelings about, because there's always times where I consider just going back, playing a little bit more, and every time I do, I'm like, oh, this is such a fun little pastime, a fun little harmless, like, nothing pastime. And then I see, like, all the different costumes and stuff that I want, and then I remember how greedy Tencent is, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is their live service MOBA, you know? So I'm like, so it's like, that harms it. But for what the game is, I think it's good. I think I'm definitely gonna put it. I definitely have come back to it more times than I've ever looked at Dual Quest Mystery Dungeon, or Super Mystery Dungeon specifically, and Pokemon Cafe Remake. So Unite, I'll put it in great. It's definitely like a mid-tier, like, okay, it exists, and it's, you know, it's fun, it's playable, it's gonna be here with us for a long time, and it gives us kind of a fan servicey type situation in how we can design our characters and how we can design our Pokemon that we use in that game, and it's fun, you know, it's good. So I'll put it in. I'll put it in great. I think that's fine. Pokemon Bank does not matter, so I'm just gonna put it in there. Pokemon Battle Revolution. That's God. That is a godly game. I mean, I get why they didn't port it, because now it's too old, it's outdated, and there's no point. But this is one of those games I've talked about multiple times on the channel where we desperately need a sequel. We need a sequel for Pokemon Battle Revolution that allows us to, you know, port whatever Pokemon that we have in, or copy the information of whatever Pokemon that we have in Pokemon Home or Pokemon Scarlet and Violet or whatever, and be able to use them in a competitive sense. Because Pokemon Battle Revolution, it had the animations, it had the dedicated, like, situation for it, and it was just so good. It was just, what a top tier game, man. What a top tier game, dude. God, we need another one. Like, if we had access to it, I'd probably still be playing it. It really was that good. It was such a good time, and we need something else like that. Just putting that out there, man. I don't know what that is, so I'm skipping that. Pokemon Coliseum. That's God. Are you kidding? This was the closest. Before the Switch, this was the closest that we ever got to a true 3D Pokemon game for a very, very long time, and it kind of set the standard too, because it actually had a really good story, right? Or at least from what I remember, it was a very fun story, a very unique story, where you're actually kind of not a rebel per se, but you actually betrayed the evil team. Like, that's one of the stories, like, that's a fan fiction story right there, where you are literally like, you escaped the evil team because you saw that they were up to some BS, and you're like, nah, man, and you did the coolest thing possible. The intro is literally, what is his name, Seth? Busting out of a facility on a motorcycle with his Eevee partners in the twin seats on the motorcycle. That is what I want more of for Pokemon, dude. That was crazy. That is a crazy thing that they did, and that they never did again, and I'm so upset. Not even its sequel is that cool, man. It's so cool. And they introduced the concepts of shadow Pokemon and stuff like that, and they nailed it. They nailed the aura of this Pokemon game. You had a real sassy partner, not sassy, excuse me. You had a real, like, actual, like, partner, you know, walking around with you. It's Coliseum to this day still has a lot of things that, you know, modern Pokemon can follow examples of, like, you know, a dedicated story with a unique take, you know, partners that kind of follow you around, actually, you know, give little fun insights here and there that are actually, like, with you for the entirety of your journey and stuff like that. I really appreciate that more than ever now. I really appreciate that about Coliseum, and I really hope that down the line we get more like it, because it is truly one of a kind. I've never played Pokemon Channel, so I don't know anything about that. I'm just gonna go ahead and put this one right next to Pokemon Tournament, because it's just the improved version. It's the Switch version. It has more characters. I think it has more stages. But it's good. Pokemon Tournament is still incredible. It has so many different options to play, and it's just so good. It's just so good, and I will always, always, always crave more, because that is a very, very well-made game. God, I love it so much. Now, I'm having a hard time distinguishing which Pokemon Ranger this is. I think it's the original. No, I see the original. So I believe this one is Guardian Signs. And if it is Guardian Signs, I'm gonna go ahead and put that one. Sorry, I keep moving it up and down. I don't mean to do that, I'm sorry. But I'm gonna put that one in Phenomenal, because it's good. It's very good. We love to see it. Incredible. Truly a little incredible game. I don't really have too much to say about it, because I'll be honest, I don't really remember the story that much, but I do remember, like, spending so much time just, like, memorizing all of the signs to summon, like, Pichu, Suicune, Darkrai, or whatever, just to summon partner Pokemon. It was so fun. It was so sick. That was just such an awesome concept that they introduced, and I'm very happy that they did it. Love that. Super love that. So next up, we have... What is that? That's the original Red and Blue Rescue Team. I'll put it in great. I mean, it's been remade. You know, it's good. I love it. It's still very good. Not that much to it. So, I'm just gonna put it in great. It's definitely still holds up as a good spin-off, and I don't think it's available on NSL, right? But why would we need it to be, right? But it's the introduction to a phenomenal series. It was just genius. Truly genius that they gave us this. Very happy that it exists. I think this is Pokemon Rumble for like DS. I didn't play this one. I didn't mess with that one at all. If this is what I think it is, I believe this one is Poke Park 2. Give me that, man. Top of godly, easily one of the best spin-off games in the entirety of the franchise. So good. Just, God, it built upon everything that its predecessor set for it, right? It gave us so many different areas to explore, so many more Pokemon to have access to and interact with. I'm starting to think I messed up on Poke Park 1. Now I'm confused. But I'm gonna go ahead and just leave it there. I'm assuming I could be wrong on that. I hope that's Poke Park 1. But either way, Poke Park 2 is one of the most fun games, or Pokemon spin-off games that I've ever played by far. I played it so many times when I was younger. I played through it just a lot. I scratched the hell out that disc. It's one of the games that I regret the most giving away, because now I just don't have any access to it. And trying to get my hands on it now is miserable, so I'm just not going to try. But regardless, it was just such an incredible time, and being able to play as not only Pikachu in this sequel, but Snivy, Oshawott, and Tepig, and, you know, all of them having different abilities, all of them having different, like, dialogue options with a, like, multitude of Pokemon and things like that. And it had an aura that the first one didn't have as much of, and it made for a very memorable little game, and I appreciate it with all my heart. It is easily one of my favorite Pokemon games by far. It is so much fun, and it is so good. Right up there with Colosseum. Actually, I need to move Colosseum up, respectfully. And I'm definitely going to move XD Gale of Darkness pretty close to it as well. I know XD Gale of Darkness is technically, mechanically better in a lot of ways. It definitely improved on a lot, and I respect it. However, it did not have the same aura as Colosseum, in which you had your main character, and he was a little more basic. You know, he had his little sister with him, but you didn't really have much of a partner. And instead of having like an ability or like a tech that you stole, you just kind of have like this thing designed for you to capture shadow Pokemon and stuff like that. So narrative-wise, it was like, you know, from what I remember, I just wasn't as attached. I do remember it feeling a lot better to play than Colosseum, but I just wasn't as attached, unfortunately. And well, I still think it's a phenomenal entry, a phenomenal sequel that, for the most part, definitely improved in a lot of ways when it came to, you know, Colosseum. And I would kill for a part 3, or I would kill for a port. Either way, I'd be super happy with that. But yeah, no, XD Gale Darkness, sick. Sick. Did not play that one. Is this just Super Mystery Dungeon again? I think this is Super Mystery Dungeon again. So I'm just gonna leave that alone. Now you already know. You already know. Explorers of Sky? Explorers of Sky? That one is going to the top of the top of the leaderboard, unmatched. It is the best Pokemon spin-off game. That is a very hard argue. It is just so mechanically just perfect. Maybe not perfect. It's definitely more advanced than its predecessors, and even some of the games that came after it. Most people would definitely tell you, and I'm one of those very people that will definitely prefer. Mostly, maybe it's because maybe it is a little bit of a what's the word I'm looking for? Not preference, but a little bit of a bias, because, you know, we grew up on Explorers of Sky. However, even now, even to this day, it still has one of the best narrative tales. One of the best narrative tales in the entirety of the Pokemon franchise, and that is not an exaggeration. It had your partner Pokemon that was just, you know, learning as they went. You know, they had a hard time, you know, getting out of their cowardice, stepping out of their comfort zone, you know, learning how to be brave and stuff like that. You had, you know, the situation with Grovyle and Dusknoir, and learning how to trust, and, you know, learning, you know, just so much about these characters. They were more than just Pokemon. They had their own personalities, they had their own histories, they had their own characters, and they had their own missions and goals. And it really weaved together into such an incredible little tale that I can't believe didn't get, you know, more of a focus. Like, I can't believe this game didn't get a remake before Red and Blue Rescue Team. And, you know, maybe with this upcoming Direct, maybe we'll see some kind of, like, a remake for this, too. Hopefully, that would be sick, because it has been well over 4 years since we've seen a Mystery Dungeon game, so hopefully this gets a remake. But it is absolutely one of the best spin-off games, and absolutely one of the best narrative tales in the entirety of the franchise. No debate. None. And I guess I'll put, if we're getting technical, I'm assuming the pictures make it a little hard to tell, but I believe that is Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Time and Darkness, which kind of fall under the same category. Sky is just all of the mechanics and the story perfected from either of those games, but those games are still amazing in their own right. It's kind of a similar situation, so I think that's fine as is. Now we have the original Pokemon Ranger. Godly. Absolutely godly. It is just, when they introduced that, we were like, oh my goodness. Finally. Like, this is something so different and so unique, such a different take on Pokemon, and I'm so glad that they introduced it. And, you know, it's been such a long time, and my memory sucks. I don't remember what came out first. The movie, Pokemon, I don't know what came out first between Pokemon Manaphy and the Temple of the Sea, or Pokemon Rangers, but I remember being excited for one, and then seeing that the other was going to be a thing, and that I was losing my mind, because being able to have a Pokemon Ranger, like, truly embodied in the series, recognized as, like, a real job, and just something really cool to be, other than just a basic Pokemon trainer, your everyday basic Pokemon trainer, was such an exciting thing to me. So, yeah, Pokemon Rangers, absolutely sick. And same goes for Shadows of Almia, which I think, personally, is going to go to the top of phenomenal. I think it is, personally, narratively, the best of the 3 Ranger games. Shadows of Almia hits something different, man. And it may be because I was a little more attached to the characters in that one, and, you know, maybe to the mechanics, I don't know. But for the most part, from what I remember, I just remember it being just such an incredible time, and I was never able to get enough of it, because it was just so well designed, it had such a good story, it's just such a good narrative. From what I remember, again, I gotta replay it one of these days, but it was just, it's so good, it's so good. And I do remember playing Guardian Signs and thinking like, okay, well, you know, I think I prefer Shadows of Almia, but, you know, Guardian Signs was still very good. But Shadows of Almia, it was the peak of that series, and definitely just, it just hit the nail on the head for every aspect of that game. Truly, truly a remarkable entry. I think this is another Pokemon Rumble. I didn't play that one. Or Pokemon Dash, or Pokemon Stadium, or the other Pokemon, or Pokemon Stadium 2. It's missing Detective Pikachu 2, but that's because this one was before that came out, I believe? Because that came out in October of 2023, right? So, we'll let it slide. We'll let it slide. It also doesn't have Pokemon Sleep on here either. Both of those would also go and never played, because I got Pokemon Sleep, didn't even play it for a full minute. Like, it doesn't really matter. But, either way. So that is, for the most part, my list. Now, don't get it twisted, everybody's gonna have their own differing opinions on where these games lie, and that's totally fine, but this is my personal list here, and these are the games that stuck with me the most from, you know, top to bottom, and, you know, for the most part, I'm glad that they all exist in one way or another. There are some games that are just obviously a little bit more greedy than others, some that are just, you know, a lot more ignored than others, but regardless, I am glad that, you know, they at least attempted to venture out a little bit when it came to the franchise, because there's so many different things that they can do with this franchise, and all of these games here, especially the top tier row, the godly row, that prove that. So yeah, that's my list. Sorry that this one's a little bit on the more unprofessional side as opposed to my other videos. This one's definitely more filler than anything else. But I think that's okay. I think we need more stuff like this, especially in this little downtime that we have. So, you know, we'll probably do more like this in the coming weeks, because I think this is a lot of fun, actually. So, we'll do more of this. But that's enough from me. So I'm trying to hear from y'all what y'all are thinking in the comment section below. Do you like my list here? Do you think that for the most part you can agree with my list of, you know, top tier spin-offs and bottom tier spin-offs? Or do you think that I'm absolutely insane, this needs to be rearranged and I need to get my hands on more of these spin-offs? Tell me everything that you guys are thinking in the comment section below, because you know for a fact that I am always going to be down there with you guys. But with that, it does appear to be skedaddle o'clock, so I'm going to go ahead and do just that. I would like to thank you guys ever so much for watching. I truly do hope you enjoyed. Do me the greatest favor of dropping a like and a comment, and consider subscribing for more content just like this here. And with that, I'm gone, so thanks again, hope you enjoyed. I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Do me the greatest favor, taking good ass care, and I'll see you all next time.